Okay guys, I wanted to show you a field that I'm not proud of. This is my Weedy field this year, but I want to have a little discussion here about what we have going on. And so the reason this field is weedy, there were basically two reasons. One was last fall I came in here, and this is where I had an oat crop last year and a cover crop. There's root out there working for us. Anyway, this is the field where I had a cover crop last year, and I ran cows on it. And then after I pulled the cows off, that was that dry time. I made the cows mow this field off. There's our assistant. I made the cows mow the field off in the drought last year, and I did that by force feeding them hay. And the irony is that the spot where I fed hay up there right to our left on the hilltop is perfectly clean. But anyway, grazed the cover crop, had them pug it very close in the dry time, fed them hay, and forced them to clean this field off. And then I came out and spread manure on it. And so it had a very heavy manure application, probably in the area of 7 to 10 tons of manure to the acre. And I followed that. So we had a heavy manure application before the crop. And then after planting this spring, we had that 10-day wet period. And so this bottom is the lowest bean field, and as a result, it's the weediest bean field because it was the longest from planting till I could get on it and rotary hoe. And this is also the field where Claire came out here and tried to rotary hoe that first day, and she plugged the rotary hoe with mud, and it was a little bit wet, but the beans got off to a horrible start. Anyway, these are the K-State 45-20 ends. And the one thing that I noticed when I'm looking out here, and I'm trying to get some height here so you can see looking down on the field that the stand was uneven. That's what these later weeds are. There were places where the beans didn't come or they drowned out. But anyway, it doesn't look like a pool tabletop like the new variety of the K-State beans. But that does not have me worried. Part of what I'm going to show you next is the direct result of that. But we were at a field tour at my friend's, and Jesse pulled a plant of a different variety, and he counted 120 pods. And so that got me thinking I wanted to come home and compare that to the K-State bean. And so this is the 45-20s, but this is a bean plant. And I just got done dissecting it. This is a branch from the bottom. This is another branch from the bottom. But to make the pod count easier, we counted pods. And we came up with 148 3-bean pod equivalents on that plant. And so that's unheard of. That's one of the higher pod counts I've ever seen. Coming back, that will have to do with the relative soil health and the relatively high manure application here. So in summation, the field looks like heck. But there are enough weeds here that it will be yield limiting in a few spots. But even looking, relatively bad like this field does, I'm still cautiously optimistic that the yield will be good. I am noticing out here that the beans are running with the weeds. The beans didn't go tall and lay over and go flat. They are crazy tall. I'll try and give you a point of reference out here. So I'm standing in the field, and they're not up to my chest. They're probably 4 or 5 or 6 inches taller than my belly button, but they are standing incredibly well. relatively, and what their shortness, rather than trying to get tall and leggy and compete with the weeds, what they did to adapt to this relatively thinner stand was they bushed out. This was that lower branch that I pulled off. They majorly bushed out. And so, little discussion on a bean field, and we'll see what the combine says. As always, there's really only one test for yield, and that's a combine. Thanks for watching, guys.